Until just a few years ago, if you wanted to get a competitive quarter horse, you had to go out of the country down into the United States somewhere. That's not the case anymore, as we find out in the following report from Joe. The quality of quarter horses in Ontario is improving dramatically.
This is the heart of the quarter horse racing industry. This is where it all begins. This is Northridge Farm in King Township, one of the largest and most efficient breeding operations in the business.
Well, I'm very proud my own decision many years ago to buy Black Moons Arising. I took a liking to that horse, and I don't even remember whether he was 3. I believe he must have been 3 at the time. We were standing at the auction at the Heritage Place in Oklahoma, and I looked at his pedigree. There was nothing not to like about his pedigree. He was a full brother to Asai, and Asai at that time, back then, was $1 million earner and had done just absolutely tremendously. And I chose that I wanted him. So I bet on him, and my wife gave me a kick and said, enough is enough, and she gave me one more after I had lifted my eyebrow another 3 or 4 times, and then she left. And I got him for too much money, and she said, did you get him? Yes, I did. He's ours. And we've loved him ever since.
Back in the early 90s, when Rene Hunterup first got involved in quarter horse breeding, the business wasn't exactly lucrative.
Typically, when you went to the heritage sale back then, there was a much greater interest in racing, and there were fewer breeders than we see today, and the prices were quite high. So, in fact, you ended up paying more for a good horse back then than you necessarily do today, and you run for more money today.
The key to any successful horse racing operation is having a good team, and the Hunterups have assembled one of the best.
They're well maintained. Their diets are adjusted to their performance. Obviously, if there's more of a breeding demand, the feed's going to have to be increased accordingly. As any male would say, it takes a lot of energy. They get walked, they get groomed, constantly cared for as if they were just a racehorse. They're performing as such.
Here at Northridge, I'm overseeing all the yearling prepping, broodmare prepping, any horses that are going into our upcoming sale. Usually when we're prepping, we're going on the equicizer for about 35 minutes a day. Everybody gets groomed, everybody gets bathed, everybody gets handled with a chipney and stood up properly. So when we go to the sale, we're prepared, and all the yearlings behave, all the other horses behave. They know how to stand up correctly, walk correctly in a chipney.
Darcy Pelche is a product of the Pathway program for grooms.
Well, I came to the horse industry just a few years ago, and I got right into the program, so it helped me learn everything I needed to learn about a horse, because I had no horse experience when I started, and this program taught me everything pretty much I needed to know.
The Ontario breeding or breeders program, which I was very instrumental in developing, is a tremendous package. It gives an opportunity for young breeders, or breeders that have just started, or breeders that haven't even more than just thought about it, to develop a program. The key, though, to the success is to be extremely selective in their choice of both mares and stallions. There are unfortunately a few that thinks that just taking their backyard mare that has been a great barrel racing horse for them, not necessarily earned them all that much, but they love the horse, and their neighbor has a good stallion that is registered with the program, and they breed and they expect to win. It won't happen.
What would you recommend to breeders with growing broodmare bands based on your own personal experience?
Build it steadily and slowly. Acquire the good fillies. Princess Stakes program, Princess Futurity and Maturity program, Derby program, I mean. Prove your mares, but don't think you can entirely prove them up here. Once you get a mare to, or a filly brought to a certain stage, you might have to ship her back down to the US. And I only wish that our breeders program at some point will develop into also honoring those fillies that are out of Canadian breed that ends up going south and prove themselves, as we do in the thoroughbreds. Already what has been achieved in the last 2 to 3 years in terms of development of the industry, new owners, new trainers, increase in horse population, particularly increase in mare population, everything has met the target, and it can only get better from here. With the potential opening of Fort Erie, with the right racing combinations at the fort, not taking away from Ajax but adding to Ajax Downs, could be just outstanding. I am certainly extremely enthusiastic, and put it in simple terms that everybody understands, the quarter horse industry is today where the standardbred industry was in the 60s, early 60s, and you know where that is today. So we have the entire growth potential in the racing industry.
This week's stop on the Dodge Rodeo Tour, Thornbury up in the Blue Mountains, and things were really hopping up there.
Fence company. This is your cow. Good enough. Shots out. Now drive that on.
A very comfortable day for the Dodge Cedar Run Rodeo near Thornbury. Some fine work by the quarter horses in the breakaway roping event, won by Terry Lee Duff in a stunning time of 3.89 seconds.
Now watch this horse go to work. Oh yeah. Oh, look at this.
In pole bending, veteran Mary Schofield of Arthur, Ontario picked up her first victory of the season when she guided Payday Candy to a time of 22 seconds even.
It's been a long time coming.
Tell us about Payday Candy.
She's a 15-year-old quarter horse. I bought her about 7 years ago. I bred her to a stud, and I'm out of breath, really sorry. And it takes a lot more work than you think. And I've just been bringing her back the last couple of years and just finally getting back with her. And as an older person, over 50, it's really tough to keep up with these young girls.
In barrel racing, Natalie McMullen rode Dash Down Under, a former racehorse from Ajax Downs, into the lead with a time of 16.29 seconds. That time held up until Barb Miller put up a blistering performance with Smoke just 0.15 of a second quicker. How long did it take before you got Smoke to where you liked him?
I've had him about 2.5 years. He's been doing his job pretty much. He's very fast and powerful, and I needed 2.5 years to try and keep up with him.
And the final event here at the Cedar Run Rodeo is bull riding, and Nick Gonzalez is with me. And Nick, tell me, what prompts a guy to get on the back of one of these things?
For me, it's just a big adrenaline rush. I've been in rodeo since I was 11 and started riding bulls when I was 15. And it's just a big adrenaline rush for me, and I just love doing it.
We saw you getting prepared there for riding this bull. What do you have to do?
It's a lot of mental, a lot of stretching, a lot of, just making sure all your gear is right and stuff like that. I really like to get my mind in the middle and think about what I need to do out in the arena.
What do you think about when you hop on his back?
I really am just kind of, getting set, not really thinking about much. You do a lot of preparation in your mental mind before you get on, and once it comes down to get down to business, you just get down to business and do your job.
And every once in a while, getting down to business includes getting hurt a little bit. Tell me about some of your injuries.
Had a bull step on my left calf. It blew up. I had to get my leg cut open, and a couple concussions, dislocated shoulder. That's been about it for me. So
there you go. A couple concussions, leg broken open. Just a day in the life of a bull rider. Nick Gonzalez. And Nick was ready when that gate opened. The ultimate 8-second ride aboard All In. This effort was worth 70 points. Not quite good enough. This is Dusty McMullen from Albert, Ontario, hanging on for dear life on Lit Up.
Let's give him a hand out there.
Wow, that was quite the dismount. Better watch that one again.
Let's give him a hand. Dusty McMullen.
Worth 76 points. That's your champion. Well, Dusty, what did you think of Lit Up?
I liked Lit Up pretty good. That was his second trip. He's got 2 trips. One trip is he comes out and spins right there. The other trip is he goes across the pen and blows, and that's a trip he gave me, and it was pretty good for today.
You were prepared for that trip, obviously.
Yeah, I was prepared for that trip.
How'd you feel about your performance overall?
I felt it was pretty good because sometimes those bulls, when they come out and just jump, kick, and don't buck real hard, sometimes I give up and don't make the 8 seconds because I like a bull that comes out and bucks real hard, snaps and kicks right there in the gate and turns back. But I tried real hard on that bull and it went good for me.
The Dodge Rodeo Tour stops in Aurelia this week. Still to come, we'll find out how to buy your way into quarter horse racing, and Pete's gonna pop off about betting. And now it's time for Pete's gross misconduct with the greatest betting tip of all time.
So you're reading the program and you see a horse that won its last race by several lengths and ran faster than it ever run before. Are you thinking of betting this?
Oh, yeah.
Don't. I'll give you 2 really big reasons why you shouldn't bet a horse that won its last race. First of all, everyone at the track is going to see that it won its last race and going to pound the horse, so it's going to be low odds. And secondly, it probably isn't going to win anyways. Trust me, I've been through thousands of racing forms, and I can tell you that only 1 out of 7 horses actually repeats its wins. That means 85% of horses that win didn't win their last race. She's ignoring me.
We do.
When a horse wins a race, it's all about harmonic convergence. All the stars have lined up at the right time. The post position, the way the horse feels, the track, the wind, the temperature, all the other horses. Can it happen twice in a row?
No!
These kids are good. I'm going to try and give you a little perspective here, and I've got to be euphemistic. Zig, honey, do you remember the very best date you ever had? The music, the lighting, the passion, the love?
Yeah.
What was it like the next time? That's my point. The week after a horse runs its lifetime best, it's in another race. The bell goes, the gates open, the jockeys are riding. The horse turns around to its jockey and said, I gave you my best last week. When you're betting the races, you want to bet on a horse that's about to run its best race, not a horse that ran its best race last time out.
You really know your horse racing stuff, don't you?
Now she's paying attention to me.
Peter, gotta love him. The Quarter Racing Owners of Ontario will hold their first yearling and mixed sale on October 30th. With more on what we can expect, here's Doug Cheatham.
It's going to be a great day. We hope to have some big selling horses, and that's the success of the sale. We got a really bunch of good Ontario bred horses. That's where the money is. That's where the people should be looking to buy. This business is growing 20, 30, 40% in every aspect. In terms of trainers, in terms of economic development, to the feed companies, to the transportation companies, to the truck and trailer companies. It's going unbelievably great.
Coming up, you will have 2 opportunities to watch the 4th edition of the Full Quarter on Saturday, September 4th at 11:30 a.m. on A Channel, and also on Saturday, September 25th, also at 11:30 on A Channel. That's Saturday, September 4th at 11:30 and Saturday, September 25th at 11:30 on A Channel. Rogers Channel 4, 5, or 20, check your listings, and Channel 219 on Bell Express View. Next week, we will continue our look at the business of breeding, and Fort Erie gets ready to welcome the quarter horses. That does it for this week's show. For Peter and all of us here at the Full Quarter, I'm Joe Tilley. Enjoy your day.